They stormed the beaches of Normandy, broke through the hedgerows of France, and crushed the Nazi war machine across Europe. They battled through the jungles of the Pacific and crossed the Rhine into the heart of Germany. From riveted steel boxes to the most advanced armor of the 1940s, this is the complete catalog of American armored power, the iron fist of democracy. Pre-war light tanks. Let's start with the pre-war light tanks. One combat car, the training wheels, the U.S. Army's first modern armored vehicle. Though called a combat car to satisfy bureaucratic rules, it was essentially a light tank. Armed with just machine guns, it was obsolete before the war but trained the first generation of American tankers. M2 light tank. The interwar design and upgrade with better armor and a 37mm gun in a turret. Multiple crew-operated machine guns dotted the hull. It saw no combat but established the foundation for American tank design philosophy. M3 Stuart, the Honey fast, reliable, and loved by British crews who nicknamed it Honey. Its 37mm gun couldn't penetrate German armor, but it excelled in reconnaissance and infantry support. It fought from North Africa to the Philippines. M5 Stuart, the improved scout, a refined version with a more reliable engine and better crew comfort. It served throughout the war as a reconnaissance vehicle, often the first American armor to probe enemy lines. M20 to Locust, the airborne experiment designed to be carried inside a glider and dropped behind enemy lines. Lightly armored and armed with just a 37mm gun, it saw limited use with British airborne forces during Operation Varsity. M20 for Chaffee, the modern scout, introduced late in the war with a powerful 75mm gun in a compact chassis. Fast and well-armed, it was everything the Stuart should have been, arriving just in time for the final push into Germany. Medium tanks, the backbone, before we move to the next category. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to War Index History for more military history. Next are the medium tanks, the backbone of American armored divisions. M2 medium tank, the last peacetime design, asterisk, a multi-turreted design with a 37mm gun and sponson-mounted machine guns. It looked impressive, but was hopelessly obsolete. None saw combat, but it taught valuable lessons about tank derived. M3 Lee Grant, the stopgap, asterisk, born from desperation after France fell. The 75mm gun was mounted in a side sponson because American industry couldn't yet produce turret castings large enough. The British called it Grant, and it held the line at El Alamein until better tanks arrived. M for Sherman, the Liberator, asterisk, the most produced American tank of the war. Reliable, easy to maintain, and available in overwhelming numbers. Though outgunned by German Panthers and Tigers, it won through logistics, reliability, and sheer quantity. It stormed ashore on D-Day and fought in every theater. M for A1 Sherman, the cast-hull. The rounded cast-hull made it slightly tougher than the welded versions. It was the variant most commonly fitted with the 76mm gun upgrade that could finally challenge German armor. M for A to Sherman, the diesel powered by twin diesel engines, making it safer from fire but less popular with U.S. crews. Most were sent to the Soviet Union and the U.S. Marine Corps, who preferred its reliability in the Pacific. M for A3 Sherman, the best Sherman, the most advanced production model with a more powerful engine and improved transmission. The U.S. Army considered it the best Sherman variant and preferred it for frontline service in Europe. M for A3E to Sherman Jumbo, the assault tank, asterisk, massively up-armored to lead attacks on fortified positions. Its frontal armor was thicker than a Tiger tank. Though slower, it could absorb punishment that would destroy a regular Sherman. M for A3E8 Sherman Easy 8, the final evolution, the pinnacle of Sherman development. Wider tracks, improved suspension, and a high-velocity 76mm gun. It arrived late in the war but proved superior to earlier models in every way. Tank destroyers, the Hunters. Now, let's look at the tank destroyers. The Hunters. M10 Wolverine, the first Hunter built on a Sherman chassis with an open-top turret and a powerful 3-inch gun. Designed for speed and hitting power rather than armor, it destroyed German tanks from ambush positions across Europe and Italy. M18 Hellcat, the Speed Demon, the fastest tracked armored vehicle of World War II, capable of 55 miles per hour. Its 76mm gun and incredible mobility made it a deadly hit-and-run killer. German tanks never knew what hit them. M36 Jackson, the heavy killer asterisk armed with a devastating 90mm gun that could finally match the German Tiger and Panther. It arrived late in 1944, but became the most feared American tank destroyer. Capable of killing any German armor, M6 Fargo, the forgotten destroyer, a heavy tank destroyer prototype mounting a 90mm gun. Only a few prototypes were built before the M36 made it redundant. Heavy tanks. The Breakthrough Force M6 heavy tank, the stillborn giant, America's first heavy tank with thick armor and a 3-inch gun. Over 40 tons of steel that never saw combat because it was deemed too heavy for American infrastructure and shipping. It remained stateside, training crews and guarding facilities. M26 Pershing. The answer finally, an American tank that could fight German Panthers and Tigers on equal terms. Armed with a 90mm gun and heavy frontal armor, it arrived in February 1945, tragically late, but devastatingly effective. The Super Pershing variant mounted an even more powerful gun and additional armor, creating a true heavy killer. T-28, T-95 Super Heavy Tank, the bunker buster, not truly a tank, but an assault gun designed to smash through the Siegfried Line, with 12 inches of frontal armor. It was nearly invincible, but slower than walking speed. Only 2 prototypes were completed, and the war ended before they could be deployed. Specialized and experimental tanks. Finally, the specialized and experimental tanks. M7 Medium Tank, the cancelled evolution and attempt to improve on the M for Sherman with better armor and a lower profile. Prototypes were built, but the Army decided the improved Sherman variants were good enough. M for Sherman with flamethrower. The Zippo combat engineers mounted flame-throwing equipment in place of the main gun. These Zippo tanks burned Japanese defenders out of caves and bunkers across the Pacific Islands. M for Sherman Dozer Tank, the earth mover fitted with a bulldozer blade for clearing obstacles, filling craters, and creating defensive positions. These unglamorous tanks were essential for keeping the advance moving. M30 Tank Recovery Vehicle, the lifesaver, and unarmed Sherman variant with a crane and winch system. It rescued damaged tanks under fire, keeping American armor operational when every vehicle counted. DD Sherman, the swimming tank duplex drive Shermans fitted with a flotation screen and propellers. They were designed to swim ashore on D-Day, though many sank in rough seas. Those that made it provided crucial fire support in the first minutes of the invasion. M for Sherman Calliope, the rocket launcher fitted with 60 rocket tubes mounted above the turret. It could deliver devastating salvos of high-explosive rockets, though accuracy was poor. The psychological effect on German defenders was immense. From the machine gun-armed training tanks of the 1930s to the heavy armor of the Pershing, this was the steel tide that rolled across 2 oceans. They weren't always the best tanks on the battlefield. German armor was often superior in firepower and protection, but American tanks had something the enemy couldn't match. They were reliable, they were produced in staggering numbers, and they were crewed by men who believed in what they were fighting for. The M for Sherman alone was produced in greater numbers than all German tanks combined. When one was destroyed, 5 more were waiting to take its place. That was the American way of war. Overwhelming industrial might married to determination and courage. These tanks broke the back of fascism, liberated Europe, and secured victory in the Pacific. They were the iron fist of democracy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into American armor, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to War Index History for more military history content. Drop a comment below. Which American tank do you think was the most important to winning the war?